Okay, so on my end, still on the notifications things. I merged a thing yesterday, thank you, Dan, to prevent communities from having more than a hundred moderator, owner, or admin. So that this leads the way to actually enabling the rest of the changes, including enabling flag posts, set rule, and that kind of stuff. Because in order to prevent like spamming the database, I'm also looking to enable all of the errors notifications that are currently not sent to anyone, which is going to be important. For instance, when you set like a moderator too much, right now the error notification doesn't make its way back to the user, so that's bad. And when I'm gonna finish the error notification, we'll also be able to drop one of the notification tables, which is gonna allow us to save some space, which is gonna be nice.
So those notifications, they show up in their actual notifications list. Is that the way it
Yeah,
would work? Okay.
it's just like another notification type basically. It's like basically it's gonna be like error the too many moderator, or like it's there is a payload, so it can be whatever text you want
Yeah,
really.
I guess my thing I'm thinking is just how easy will it be for them to spot among all the other notifications?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a like it shows up in the notification list, but like the any front end is free to like
Could
filter
capture
them.
it and show it more prominently, right?
I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
we could expand the API down the line to be able to like query like specific notification
Types
types,
or yeah.
so that like I can easily imagine like a UX where you have like a two tab system where one tab is like actual notification and another tab is like errors. Um, I mean that's up to be discussed with like the actual front end implementers, but like
Absolutely. But it definitely seems like something
yeah,
we should think about. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like as soon as we actually release like the new notification types and like there will be a need, then they'll be free to like experiment with it and let us know what kind of APIs they want us to implement.
Yeah, makes sense.
Um, yeah, so there will be some space saving there because right now like there is some errors that are leading all the way to like to 2020 or stuff like this that are stored for no one to see when notifications are supposed to expire after 90 days. And yeah, overall, it's important because like I've had some user reports where like they see the notification go through, but then they don't see like the corresponding effect on the various like on the HiveMind L2 basically, and so it's gonna be a better UX when they see like the error or the notification linked to it.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Quite straightforward.
did we ever? I know we were. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the last thing on the mesh stuff is we were waiting for some feedback from Coinbase. Is that
Yeah,
the case or what? Okay.
I haven't followed that deeply. I think at this point, yeah, it's up to them to reply to us. And I mean, as we know,
I
they are
guess my question is, should we get somebody to nudge them on this?
yeah. I can DM. I can see if Krim has some bandwidth to look into it.
Okay. Is that useful?
I don't know who's the official. I think it's Crimson. Who's
Yeah, Crimson and Gandalf
yeah.
usually are the ones who talk to the exchanges most.
Hmm.
Okay. So that was all for you, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So I guess I'll just sort of go into start on our stuff. So one of the things is it occurred to me that I'd like to start seeing some of our development groups increase their interaction, and because we're a bit siloed right now in terms of each of our different devs teams, and I think there's some benefits for us to to talk more, interact more. So, sort of to test this out, I've been had some meetings with uh, the Peak D team, talk to those guys, and see how we can cooperate some with them on our some of our guys. And I also suggest that they approach the Three Speak team too as well, and see if there's some synergy there as well. But that goes for other groups. Just I can only talk to so many people at once. So I also encourage any of the other groups out there doing development to just sort of chat with the other guys from other groups and see what they're doing and see if there's, things you could work on together, stuff like that. We're all trying to do this. We're all working for the same end goal. So, and I guess actually I should say the first one, once I see the thumbs up, probably the first group that along that lines was actually McFarhat's group. We've been working with him on the Block Explorer for a bit, and I think that's been going pretty smooth. So I think more of that kind of cooperation I think is helpful. Um, so probably the same thing goes at some point for the VSC guys. I so we'll probably engage with them a little bit, but um, as far as right now, what we're working on, we're basically getting ready to release the new version of the API stack, and by getting ready to, I mean it'll be probably near the end of this quarter. So I'm hoping, well, I'm fairly sure actually by some, I guess what did that put us at? September timeframe. If September, we'll be ready to release a new version. As far as what right now, we're into the sort of first phase testing. We're not quite feature completely, but we're near feature complete at this point. So first round of testing seems suitable at this point. In terms of what we've been working on, well, we've continued to optimize a Hive-D node. I've been testing pretty extensively the new version of Hive-D that doesn't take much RAM up. So the shared memory file went from 24 gigabytes down to, I guess, 6 gigabytes. Um, and I mentioned this already, it's not new, I guess, but I have been extensively testing that and it performs very well. In fact, the performance is actually improved as well as just not just memory performance, but even replay performance is improved. And I've been testing in a mode nowadays where I don't even bother to use a RAM disk. I'm just using NVMe's for the replay, and even that's all working quite well. So no longer have to shift between uh, having it replaying on a RAM disk and then copying it off to your NVMe afterwards. That type of thing. To achieve that, I did have to mess around with some of the settings for what do they call it, for the virtual memory settings. So I made like a script that I just run to configure those for best replay speed. It's not that you can't do it without doing that, but you get better performance. That's all it is to it. So it's not like even that's a required step, but for somebody who wants to get absolute fast replay, that running that script will help out. I thought about having it actually compiled into the code itself so that Hive-D would do it automatically, but it's because it requires root privileges to do that kind of script change. I decided in the end, it just made more sense to just leave it as a separate script. Okay, other things going on in the Hive-D side, we've been working on Swagger-based documentation for Hive-D's API, just like we have for all the the other half apps. And so that I believe mostly done as far as I know. As well, I haven't looked at it yet though. Other things, one of the biggest things we've been working on lately is continued work on HiveMind and also the new app HiveSense. So in HiveMind, there have been a couple requests for various forms of muting that weren't taken care of, and so that's all in there now. So basically, muting I think is pretty much should be perfect now. I don't think there's any problems with it at all at this point. Again, that's just in the developed version. This is part of the release that's coming up. Another thing we added to HiveMind is full text search. This is just traditional full text search using gen indexes for the keyword search. And then we've also, as a separate, I think I've also mentioned previously, we've been working for a while on semantic search, which is embedded vectors. You could call it AI search, whatever you want to think about it. And so we've been basically testing and tuning that and improving it. So the speed of the replay is pretty good now. The search quality is continually improving. I think it's quite good at this point, but we haven't tuned it completely. So the next step is I'm going to, after I do the real world testing of the stack this week, we'll probably deploy it to api.syncat.com, and there we'll basically open it up for everybody to test, and we'll continue tuning the search then to see if there's any more improvement we can get out of it. Other things on the On the other half app side, we've been working on Balance Tracker a bit in cooperation with McFarhat's team. So we've got a number of new features there in terms of data that's available. There's savings balances, pending coin conversions, market orders, average transfer statistics. So in other words, we can do like analysis of overall statistics are available now. Recurrent transfers are monitored, and recent trades, trade history APIs have been added. And I think McFarhat's team now they're working on a rich list as a next feature. That's probably I think probably close out the features for this release for Balance Tracker once the rich list is in there. Actually, that's not true. There's one more thing going on, but I don't know if that's going to be part of. I think it's we're also adding we're also adding a ability to in half to track which account actually does an operation. Basically, the we had the impacted accounts, but that could be people besides the people who actually did the transaction. So when you do a transfer, there's two people involved: the person who receives, the person who sends. But now we're going to actually directly track as well which one is the ones who actually did the operation, and that'll be kind of useful for a bunch of apps, I think. Block Explorer, we speed up how the witness vote calculations were going. It used to be kind of slow, so we had it only calculated like once every 10 minutes. And even then it would take more than the 3 seconds of a normal operation. I can't remember how long it took, but it took a significant amount of time. But we were able to speed that up, and now it's real time. We also have permalink searching. We speeded that up a bit. And of course, just as we've been working with McFarhat's team, we've been adding more data that's available to show on the Block Explorer itself. Um, Wax is pretty important in our overall, view of how things going, and we've been working on that quite a bit, and we've been using it heavily in the new apps we're creating, especially Denser and Clive. So Denser, just a reminder, is our replacement for Condenser, and Clive is basically a command line Python-based wallet. So Wax is, I think at this point, the Python Wax has been pretty much feature complete in a reasonable way for a while for the TypeScript version, but now I'd say the Python is also in quite good shape. So if anybody's looking for a Python library to use, I'd highly recommend you take a look at Wax at this point. In terms of what we've been doing lately in Wax, we did some more improvement to the way we create and broadcast Hive transactions, speeded it up as well. We now support all the standard API calls in Python as well as in TypeScript. We've got we had an API generator. Basically, it takes a custom API and creates bindings for Wax, and we had that for TypeScript. We now have that for Python as well. We also have been developing the health checker component for a while, and so Wax has like the business logic for the health checker built into it, so it automatically manages supporting like multiple API servers. So if you've got two different API servers that have different API sets you need to talk to, it'll manage the communications to both those servers. And of course, Wax also supports offline operations. That won't be that interesting to most people, but if anybody's working on like a cold wallet or something like that, that's also a nice little benefit. Beekeeper's pretty much finished as well, so we'll be releasing that this quarter officially. I guess it's been available for a while, but it's been tested extensively through both Denser and Clive. So another thing you guys are probably aware of, or maybe not, we recently announced a release of these web components. They're like little one-liner components you can embed into your web page to show data from Hive. So there's like one for posts, so you could see like you could have actually embed your Hive posts into your own web pages, and you can embed people's comments into your web pages. So we're building several of these. And this is one of the areas where I wanted to increase support across our teams, because the PeakD team guys had put up a proposal to start allowing business to create their own customized websites, which I think is a great idea. and it seemed like a natural synergy to have them use our components to help build those kind of web pages. So I've basically put them in contact with each other, and we're starting to explore, what we can do there. And already we had a guy from the Deluxe team chime in because one of the questions that the Peak D team asked pretty quickly is about server side rendering to improve SEO. They said a lot of businesses will need that kind of thing. And that made sense. But our initial focus was just a client side rendering. So, and then one of the Deluxe guys spoke up and said, we actually have something like that we use to do server side rendering. Our websites were originally just client side, and we have some technology for helping do server side rendering. So that's the kind of thing I think we need to do more of, is that kind of that kind of communication, because a lot of times we might have a solution on one team already, and it just doesn't make sense to reinvent the wheel. What else? The MetaMask stuff, wallet stuff is all done. So that integration's there. And so that's basically what we're planning for third quarter. That's primarily it. Um, and so I don't know exactly when the new stack will be up yet. Maybe it'll be earlier than September, but September by the latest, I think, is pretty safe statement. Anyways, I'll let somebody else talk for a while. Anyone else like to go?
Happy to update from my side.
Okay, go for it.
All right, thanks. Right, so from our end, in terms of Block Explorer UI, first we've implemented multilingual support. We tokenized the whole interface for Block Explorer and implemented translation and multilingual support for 12 languages. We've also added several missing account details for profile completeness. I've been just skimming through other Block Explorers that we have, and we were missing few details like the last account updated, last owner updated, last post, comment, vote dates, things like this that we just added recently. So as you mentioned, the API for the back end of Block Explorer, the voters history has been improved, the voters list, and also the voters history. So there's the pagination that Michael worked on. There's also the search capability to be able to filter out by voters, specific
nice.
voters. So yeah, this is some great stuff. So we will, once we have the SYNCAD updated, we should be able to also update the UI so that these things can be displayed on the front end. We've worked also on some updates to Health Checker, some UX UI improvements to make it, a bit neater to fix few issues that we were having. Also, as you mentioned, with the back end for the balance tracker, there's the API endpoint for conversions, market, escrow, savings. So hopefully this will also provide some added value. There's really a lot of back end API things that we're hoping to get done soon enough. And I really love the item you mentioned regarding who performed the action. So this will help filter out incoming, outgoing transactions. I know Gandalf, you put in the ticket for the Block Explorer, so this will, I believe, provide a lot of added value and allow much more deeper filtering for the transactions. I guess this is really it from our side.
Okay, sounds good. I guess before we get anybody else talking, anybody have any questions about anything so far? Or is it all clear enough? I'm going to take that as clear. Anyone else want to talk about anything they've been working on lately?
I'm just carrying on building backend, my version 2 of my backend to be shareable and better. But I'll take a look at the Wax Python stuff because I haven't really looked in on it. So thanks for that.
Yeah, so I'll mention as well, actually, I should have also mentioned the worker bee stuff. I think this particularly would be what you're looking for right now. I think it'd be perfect for your needs. And that's also in a quite good state now.
Yes,
It's
yes, but worker B unfortunately is still in TypeScript. I hope it can be the work on of Python version of worker B will be started and completed in some initial point before Hive Fest. But this work needs to be done. We have
okay.
already Wax in Python, so we have foundation to start working on worker B for Python also. So that that's good point to continue it. And I hope that new support for generated APIs also powered by intelligent support and typing can be useful for example, for Brian. And I hope to merge this week changes specific to automatic generation of such Python packages containing such API definitions from Swagger files which have been defined in Hive repository.
All right. Yeah, I'll take a good look at all of that in the next week or two.
Okay, thanks.
Sounds good. Um, anyone else?
One thing I forgot
Yeah.
to mention, I have a resource that I might be able to have help out a bit with Dancer. I saw there's a lot of tickets there. Do you think it would be useful to have someone help out with Dancer as well?
That's a good question. I mean, we do have a fairly good sized team on Denser, but we can certainly talk about it. I actually don't know the answer to that right now. I'm not too. I'm only lightly involved in the Denser development, to be honest. I do know there's a decent number of people working on it, but beyond that, I can't say.
Okay. If there's any other project front end, because I have a resource fresh now, who I can also have help out on something. So if there's any other front end need for I mean for help or low resources, we can help out. Or I can just pick maybe one task or some minor thing to just test the grounds with the developer
Yeah,
to see
that
if he can
sounds
be
like a good
delivered.
idea. Let's talk about it offline. But I think I kind of like this idea. I would like to have a few more people outside of our team, aware of how the technology is put together. So that seems like a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just trying to get more eyes to get involved with Hive to learn about the technology and to help out
Absolutely.
as needed. And they're loving this whole thing. I bring the developers. I had a developer on our call last week. He was saying, I'm getting notifications about something to claim rewards and something like that. I told him, yes, this is the core about Hive. You earn while you post, you comment, you get upvotes. So he loved the idea. And I said, yeah, that's how Hive works. That's how you can earn some rewards by contributing to Hive. So
Yeah, I think it should be an attractive idea to developers, especially.
exactly. And there was this other thing I wanted to mention. Yeah. So I have another resource who, with Androids, we sometimes need to use a Java version
Mhm.
for Hive. Um, so there was this old project that was built on Steam called SteamJ that was about enabling easy access via package to connect to the Steam blockchain and transact. I mean, one thing I wanted to have the dev is to look at this and try to improve it and migrate it to Hive. I don't know if this is the best approach, or I think Wax is really more suited to JavaScript and Python, or
Yeah,
TypeScript and Python.
I don't know that we've really looked at it for Java. I have no idea. Bartek,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know if you even considered Java so far.
No, I don't think so. It is
It is 2025.
Well,
yes. Actually, my
Java still is the big thing on what he said is true.
Oh
It's
yeah,
phones. It's for phones. That's where this gets interesting.
yeah,
I think
true.
for phones deployment, we can have better choose to use directly some web-based implementations, and here Wasm is actually probably better solution than Java. And actually, And actually, my plan for future of Wax is adding support for Rust, and I hope that it could be done by just introducing some layers, sharing some implementation between C++ and JavaScript, and targeting Rust client. So that's definitely a part which we want to would like to add in the future. But first, Python must be completed, and then we can focus on
Yeah, and also
thinking on that.
it's about demand, and for now, I think the Python version for Wax is what we should focus on, and also
Well, yeah, I'm not asking you to focus on Java right now. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm
yeah, and
asking you is, have you guys even considered Java? And I think the point is, answer is no, which is fine. I don't
Yeah, I
think
mean
there's
that's
anything.
yeah. Sorry, the only reason I'm having this guy work on it is because he has a Java background. So
Mhm.
so I thought maybe he can do some work and migrate it and make it available if anyone
Yeah,
needs it.
I
So
see nothing at all wrong with that. I think that's a quite reasonable thing to do.
all right, cool. Yeah, that's it really from my end. Sorry to update
Sounds good.
twice.
I'll just jump in and say one other thing. Work continues in the background to try and get Apple to use Hive for the PodPing thing. There is stuff going on with podcasting all the time, and PodPing has become an unbelievably useful thing doing live notifications when podcasts start live streams, and that's starting to take off. But the big boys, which is Apple, Google, Spotify, are still kind of, they're not using it. But I know that in the background there's quite a heavy push to get Apple to consider adding the ability to listen live to podcasts. And the only way that the way that we've built the notification system for that, which is the only cross-platform notification system, is Hive. So PodPing is the way that you tell all your RSS feed subscribers that your podcast is being recorded live now and you can listen to it. And there are a number of apps already, podcast, that are normally, offline podcast apps that download episodes when they arrive. They now give you live notifications. So quite a lot of podcasts are saying, I'm being recorded. So it gets around the whole YouTube live stream is just on YouTube or Facebook is just on Facebook. It's basically cross-platform live notifications via Hive. And behind the scenes, there is a push to get Apple to build that functionality to listen to podcasts live into their app on their platform. And the way that would be done would be for Apple corporate to watch Hive, just to have one machine or a bunch of machines
Is there
reading the
anything
Hive
specifically
blockchain.
we need together in terms of
Nothing.
technology? Nothing?
Zero.
Okay.
I've given, everything is available for them. It's there's some Python, there's some TypeScript, there's some JavaScript. Whichever way they want to follow Hive and read all the pod pings, they're just custom JSON streaming by. And what would happen is Apple would ingest those centrally and then use those to cut down on the work that they do polling 4 million RSS feeds. And then Apple would then fire off notifications to all the devices that were using their software. So it would be zero load to us because it would just be yet another client
No, the
just
reader of the data.
reading the screen, reading
Yeah,
the stream.
I get it.
It would be insanely.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure there wasn't anything that we needed in terms of technology for them, but it sounds like you're saying that's all
no,
good. Okay,
and
cool.
I'm just quietly, calmly holding my breath because the idea that Apple would suddenly put this as a sort of core part of one of the core apps of their platform would be amazing for us, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. Okay, anyone else got anything? If not, I guess call it a day. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.